Welcome back to another episode of the BambooSZN Podcast. I'm your host, sober wellness coach Dorian Warmsley, the podcast where you'll hear stories of transformation, growth, and resilience. My guests come on here, tell their stories, open up, and are vulnerable to help you feel inspired on your journey. This podcast is sponsored by Optimal Human. This is a superfood green juice that is fire. Energy levels, digestive system are amazing, but most importantly, the taste. Does not taste like you're drinking a bunch of greens. It tastes nice and tasty. I don't know however else to explain it. Use my link and you'll get 5 sticks free and a shaker bottle, baby. I'll put it in the description. Shout out to Optimal Human sponsoring this podcast. Go get your greens, get healthy, feel better. Now, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and my guest today has an amazing, powerful story of resilience, growth, raw story of recovery. She is in recovery now. She works with Shine a Light and Crossroads of Southern Nevada. I'll let her tell you some more about her story, her deepest, darkest moments, and how she is now thriving. I bring you Jamie Hatfield.
Hi.
Hola, Jamie. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing good.
I truly appreciate you coming down here. We crossed paths through Jeff and Rob.
Yes.
I'm assuming, right? Because Rob was like on my show almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
And then I also have had Jeff on my show.
Yeah.
Now, Jamie, if you could tell us a little bit, if you had to give us 3 words to tell us who you were, what would they be?
Now?
Yeah.
3 words today. Strong. Inspiring. And just grown up.
Ooh, that was good. Yeah. And before you said that, you said now. So I'm guessing previous, there'd be different words for yourself you would have.
Right. Yeah.
What words would those be?
Lost, broken, shameful. I mean, all the things that go with addiction, I think, all the words that you feel when you're out there. So yeah. So when I have to think of words now, it's a little bit tougher because I spent so much of my life being the other 3 things that you had mentioned, that you said. So
has it been hard for you? We'll get into your story in a little bit, but has it been hard for you to accept the new you?
Oh yeah. I have imposter syndrome all the time. Like, is this really my life? Like, I don't feel like I'm qualified, even though I know I'm more than qualified. But yeah, it is sometimes.
That's interesting. And so you are now sober.
Yes.
How long have you been sober?
I'll have 6 years in November.
Oh, let's go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what was your drug of choice?
Heroin.
Big bad H. Yeah. And let's dive into take us back to your life before recovery. What was your upbringing like? Like, how did you get into it?
So I grew up here in Vegas. So it was party scene and everyone around me did it. I always tell people, we all drank the same beer. We were all handed the same beer at a party. I just didn't know I had the disease of addiction. So going through high school and growing up in Vegas, the bar scenes, the party scenes, the desert parties we had was just something that all of us did as kids. And I didn't see anything wrong with it at the time. And I didn't really feel like I had a problem and I didn't know what addiction was. So I was not the alcoholic growing up where I needed to drink every day. And I thought that's what the definition of an alcoholic was that if I can put it down, I'm not an alcoholic. And but as I've learned, the blacking out, all of those were red flags to my disease. But at the time, I just thought that's something that we did. I got into harder drugs. I got into the adult industry right out of, fresh 18, 19.
What's that, strip clubs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little Darlings?
Deja Vu.
Deja Vu.
Yeah, when it was 18 and over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I worked there off and on for like 10 years. Had a good run there.
So you're at Deja Vu. You graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Deja Vu and you worked there for 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Continue,
off
sorry.
and on. Yeah. I was there like full time for, a good, 6 years. And, the typical party drugs that are introduced in those scenes, cocaine, meth, you were working graveyard hours because that's the best time to make money. And once again, everybody did it. And so I just thought I was bringing home money. I had a house. I had the car. I didn't think my life was out of control. Looking back, I know that that's not how you're supposed to be living.
'Yeah.
But yeah, and so my real And don't get me wrong, I had horrible experiences in this time, but it didn't seem that bad to me. And so when I had my child, I decided I was going to stop dancing. I got pregnant. I was going to stop dancing, and I was going to get sober, and I was going to do the things. And I didn't understand the disease of addiction. I didn't even know what that really was. And so I got pregnant, and I became like a stay-at-home mom right out the gate. You know, I would be with the baby and all this stuff, and it became really, really overwhelming for me. And I was suffering from postpartum depression, and I had some back pain caused by the epidural, and I was given Lortabs. And basically, that's when I'm addicted. Heroin is a form of opiates, you know, and Lortabs are like prescription.
Baby steps into it.
Right. So, and that's where I found the love of my life at the time. You know, I took that first pill, and it was a game changer.
Really? Pain was gone. You just felt good.
Yeah, I had the energy to take care of my kid. I thought I was doing everything right. It was legal. You know, a doctor had handed it to me, and I'm like, okay, you know, like, I'm good. And then I became addicted over time, taking the pills every day. And when I started using more, because I wanted to feel, I liked the feeling 1 gave me. I'm going to like the feeling 2 gives me, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely going to like the feeling 3 gives me.
Damn.
And so I would run out of my prescription early, and then I would start looking on the streets, and having the connections I had from my past, it was easy to get pills. And so I graduated to Roxy's, which are stronger, a stronger opiate. And then one day, my Roxy dealer didn't have Roxy's, and he said, I use heroin. I have some heroin I can give you just to make you not sick for the day. I'll sell you Roxy's tomorrow, you know. But I mean, there was no going back to the Roxy's the next day. It was heroin from that moment on.
What type of heroin?
Just like the black tar heroin, the gross.
And that you smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never used it. I just only hear stories from, you know, my guests or people I know. Wow. So then he gave you the black tar, you smoked that, and then from that point on, you're like, this is what I need.
Mm-hmm. And then the chemistry in my brain changed like that day. It was like, they say, I don't want to misquote it, but it's like, they say like, it's like breathing to an addict. Like their brain really, really feels like you need it to survive. And from that moment on, that's how I felt. It was that over everything. Like my kid became, you know, second place. Wow. My family became second place. I mean, I was stealing from everybody in my life, and they tried to get me help early on, but I wasn't ready. I hadn't lost anything really. They were scared. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna die," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know, am I really?" You know, I didn't think anything much of it, and so my kid's dad ended up taking me to court because I couldn't stop using, and rightfully so. And the day I lost my child, because I couldn't get clean, I didn't have any treatment. I was put in rehabs, but I would stay for 15 days. I would stay for, you know, I wasn't really trying. I was doing it for other people.
Yeah.
They were like, first time I was doing it because my mom wanted me to go to rehab. Second time was because I didn't want to lose my kid. Like, it was never, I wanted to get sober.
Yeah.
I still wanted to feel that way. You know, like I still wanted to feel that way more than I wanted to do anything. And so when I lost my kid, that's the first time I picked up a needle. I went home from court and I told my boyfriend at the time, it's time. Like, I'm done. So, yeah, after that, it's a spiral of years and years.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So you said you're on the black tar.
Mm-hmm.
You got your child's father takes you to court, takes custody. And when you lost the custody of your kid, that was the time when you felt your lowest and you decided to start shooting up? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I had been around it. My boyfriend at the time was doing it that way. But I knew that was a line I didn't want to cross. Yeah. I knew that, like, you know, like, I knew that there was something powerful in that. And once you do that, and I'd heard, once you do that, you can never go back to smoking it. Nothing's ever the same. And so I kept this boundary that, like, I wasn't going to do that because, like, if I did that, I was never going to be able to quit. And so once I lost my kid, that was, like, the jump off point. Like, okay, well, I don't have anything to live for, so I want to get more high.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm going to get more high.
Damn. And, okay, damn. And that first time it happened, you just shoot up. Do you remember that feeling?
It's just numb. You're just numb. It's that euphoria. If you've ever been put under, or if you ever had surgery and you've been given like an oxy after, and that feeling, like the pain goes away, you're warm. It's like instant relief.
Yeah.
That's the same exact feeling. That's the exact same feeling. So when you're going through something mentally, it's like instant relief. And I never want to, when I'm in my addiction, I never want to not feel that way. So I constantly chase that feeling of relief.
And with the heroin use, how long between uses are you able to last? You personally, were you able to last like 12 hours, 6 hours, a day?
I mean, it was as much as I could get it. It was, there's some days that I could stretch it.
Yeah.
And do little amounts just to be well and not feel the physical withdrawal. But I mean, me personally, I always wanted to just be high. And so as much as I could get my hands on was as much as I was doing.
Wow. How old was your son, daughter?
My son, he was 3 when I lost custody.
Lost custody. So then now you started shooting up, you're past that boundary. What happened next? Like the next few years? And
so I started trafficking
drugs. Okay.
Across the Mexican border into Vegas.
Oh, wow.
I started working for my dealer. I was like, we didn't really have like, a way to make money. So they offered me, we'll give you all the drugs you need and we'll give you money. And I didn't care. I'm at this point, I had nothing to live for, and I didn't really the consequences were nothing in my mind. Like, I just wanted to be high, and I was going to find any way to do it. And so it sounded like a good idea. And I did that a few times, and like my third or fourth time, I was with my older sister. She's also an addict. And we were crossing the border into San Diego, and we got caught.
How long into it were you at this point of trafficking before you got caught?
It was we did like 3 or 4 times. So like,
still new.
Yeah. It wasn't very many times.
All right. So when you were doing that, how are you bringing it? Are you allowed to say? I don't know.
Probably not.
Okay. Don't say it. I don't want to incriminate nobody. I'm in trouble. Okay.
They know. Inside of me, strapped to me.
Oh, you swallowed it. Mm-mm. What do you mean inside of you?
Like up and.
Oh, yeah. The beaver.
Like, yeah, the beaver. That one. Yeah.
Oh, and then just little baggies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, it was a big bag. We had 2.5 pounds together, combined. So
of heroin.
Of heroin.
That's got to be pretty big, yeah.
Yeah. So we had some inside of us, and then this time we had strapped a package to our stomachs. I don't know why we did it, because like that was the move that got us caught. And I'm not saying I regret it. I'm just like, I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah.
But we strapped a package to our stomachs and had some inside of us. And it was, I don't know. It was pretty. It was a lot.
Wow. And then so you got caught crossing the border with that, and what happened? Like.
So they put us in a federal holding cell with a bunch of like illegal immigrants that were also, waiting to go wherever they were going to go. And then they took us the next morning to the federal detention center. And since we were addicts and withdrawing from several different substances, they couldn't detox us at federal holding because they don't have the medical facilities to do it there. So they took us to the county jail, and they actually dropped the federal charges to state charges, which was a godsend. So.
Wow.
Since they couldn't detox at federal, they had to drop them to take us to county. So they dropped it to sales and possession at a county level, and then sent us to a rehab.
Really?
Yeah. We got 45 days in jail and then sent to a rehab. The judge was really cool. The judge, he knew what he was looking at. He knew we weren't mules like doing it for come-ups. He said, you guys are sick, and, giving you time is not going to do anything. We need to get you help. And so he ended up sentencing us to a rehab, and went to rehab, did great. And 3 months into rehab, I don't know what happened. I just decided, I met someone at a job I was working, and he was getting high, and I decided I still wanted to get high. I wasn't ready to quit yet. I didn't have my child back. not that I could do it for my kid, but like I still didn't, like my family, this was in San Diego.
Yeah.
My family's in Vegas. So like I'm feeling alone in this town. I'm overwhelmed. I'm working a real job. I've never worked a real job in my entire life.
Where was it at?
In San Diego?
Yeah, what job?
Oh, it was like a telemarketing company.
Okay.
But it was just one of those get well jobs they put you in a
Yeah.
rehab. And I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm like out here by myself and someone offers me drugs and I'm not strong enough to say no yet. I don't have the tools in place. And so I got high again. And then it was just years, literally years of the same running from, I'm on the run now because I didn't finish my rehab. And I'm going in and out of jail and I'm catching new petty cases, like just nothing major. Check fraud. I started doing a lot of fraud stuff to get by because I couldn't work. I didn't have an ID. I'm getting high. I can't hold a job anyways.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing a lot of fraud to get by. And I'm getting caught here and there, but they're just reinstating me on probation. And I'm like, but not with anywhere to go. You know, they're just like, okay, here. Until I got drug court. I got offered drug court in California. And then in drug court in California, I only took it because I knew they were going to let me out. They're like, oh, we can send you to prison or you can go to drug court. And I'm like, I'm going to go to drug court. You know, like, we're going to drug court. And I ran the first day. I had no intentions of doing it. None.
Damn.
I was like a known runner. Every time I got caught, I'd find a way out. And finally, I don't want to say finally, but I got caught. I came back to Vegas. I ended up back in Vegas, living at my dad's house, and he's an addict as well. And so I'm living in this trap house, doing my fraud, and I'm out doing fraud, and I come back, and my dad's house is being raided. And I'm like, shit.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. And yeah, the cops hit us with 11 felonies and took me to jail. And I went to jail in CCDC out here, and I saw the judge, and she ended up putting me on probation. And so now I'm in probation in 3 different counties with nowhere to go.
Oh,
because they're not like, and our justice system to this day is not set up correctly. Like, it's like, okay, you're going to probation, but there's nowhere we're putting you. And so I went back to my dad's. I ended up back at my dad's. I had to be extradited to California to deal with the other probation violations. But at the end of the day, I ended up back in Vegas at my dad's house. And then I was on the run again for another 3 years.
Wow. So you said, fuck probation. I ain't going to follow your rules. I'm just going to be gone until you find me.
Yeah. I'm in my dad's trap house with a bunch of addicts. Like, I don't have anywhere else to live.
Yeah.
Nowhere else to live. And you're not setting me up with any treatment of any kind. Not that I even know how I would do it, because they did try to give me drug court, and I didn't do that either.
Yeah.
So I make my way back to California, follow a guy out there, and I'm in a little town. And I don't understand how little towns work because I'm from Vegas. So I don't understand how they're...
What town was it?
Hanford, California.
Hanford?
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's right outside of Fresno.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Damn.
like you can walk from one end of the town to the other. And I'm not familiar with like small town cops. I don't know really how they work out there. So I go steal a package or something, and the next day the cops are knocking at this place that I'm staying at the door looking for me. And I'm like, I'm not her, you know, giving them fake names. I've given them fake names before. And they were, are you sure you're not her? They walk me out to their car. And I see my mugshot from Vegas. I'm like, damn. And so I take off. I'm like,
you run?
Yeah.
Oh.
Into the trash cans. I knocked myself over. Like,
You ran the trash can to hide?
No, I just ran.
Oh, you
ran
ran into them.
Yeah. Fell over. Wasn't hard to catch.
Damn. I wish there was video.
I was caught.
Oh.
I was caught. So I know I'm going to prison this time. I'm tired. At this point, I'm tired. I just have never had the tools to succeed. And so I'm like, all right, you know, I give up. I go to California jail, and they don't even put the charge on me because it's so small. It's like they gave me a misdemeanor ticket.
Yeah.
And then Vegas came and got me.
Yeah.
And I came back out here. And the judge that sentenced me to probation looked at me, and she's like, no, you're going to prison.
Ooh.
Okay. And my sentence was 12 to 24 months.
Ooh.
But I realized quickly by talking to people that I was only going to do 3 months. So once I found that out, it was like, oh, we're just going to go in and do a little 3 months and we're going back out. Like there was no, okay, maybe I need to slow down, nothing.
Yeah.
Like I did that 3 months, didn't even really think about getting sober, didn't make any plans to get sober. And so I got a pen pal in prison, and I found a pen pal in prison, and he was like, because I didn't have anywhere to parole to. I burned every bridge that I had ever made in my entire life, and I found a guy through the pen pal that was like, come parole to my house. You can have your own room, set you up. I'm like, okay, sounds like a win to me. So they let me out of prison, and
After 3 months?
yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because with 12 months, on a 12-month sentence, when I had 4 months in credit,
Okay.
and then you only do 7 months
Of
on
the
a
12?
year. Mhm.
Okay.
On a year. So, yeah, you can parole after 7
Gotcha.
months. And I found a place to parole to, because if I didn't have a place to parole to, I wasn't going to get out. So I made sure that I found that place to parole to. And they let me out, that his residence passed approval and all this stuff. And so down in Bonanza, they let you out at P&P right there, parole and probation. And I'm in
Yeah.
my blues, and they give you a little $25 gift card. And they're like, all right, go ahead, you know? And so I walked to Naked City with my $25 gift card. That 7-Eleven on Charleston and Las Vegas Boulevard got $10 cash back,
$10 cash back.
and went and found heroin.
Damn, that's 7-Eleven's right there.
Mm-hmm. Just...
Was it easy to find it again?
Yeah, I just found a guy who was sitting on the curb, and I was like, oh, he looks like he gets high. And I'm like, hey, bro. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it was within 30 minutes of me being released.
Damn. So then what happened? You got high and then you go to your pen pal?
I went to that guy's house, and he didn't have a room for me. No.
Whoa.
He wanted me to sleep in his room. And I was like, this is not. I mean, and I probably knew in the back of my mind that's not what I was going to
come on.
But the thing was, like, no. You know, like, no. I mean, I was like, all right, I got to go. I mean, I was already high. Like, I already got what I wanted. All I needed was his address, to be honest. Like, I had no intention of really, really staying there.
Yeah.
If he had a room for me, I would have tried it.
Yeah.
But, like, no. Like, the fact that he even thought I was going to go there.
Was he creepy or weird?
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he was a little weird. So
Damn.
yeah, I was like, all right, well, we're not going to do that. And then I got high again, and I was out on the run again. And same thing. I had an ex in this town in Hanford, and so I knew I could fall because his parents would always let us come back there or him come back there, and I knew he would take me. And so I never really wanted to be homeless. Like, I was in motels, I was in cars, I was in houses. I probably slept on the like streets, and I'm talking about like in a tent somewhere once high. Like, It wasn't like, my story just doesn't. I'm a woman, and I used my body to make sure I always had a roof over my head. Like, whether it be with boyfriends, you know, randoms, like tricks, I was getting a roof over my head. And I figured out really that I could do that.
Yeah.
So I ended up back in Hanford in the same town I was arrested in with that guy.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing. Then exactly a year later. And I'm like, and I'm driving down this little street, and I'm trying to go pick up, and I call my dealer, and he's not answering. And so I'm like, I'm going to go to the little bad part of town by the train tracks, because I know I can pick up there. And they saw a little blonde girl driving her little red Miata in the bad part of town.
A Miata.
And they pulled me over. And I'm like, shit, I'm on the run again. And it was the same cop, the one that chased me into the trash cans the year before.
Damn.
And he's like, and I tried to give him a fake name. I'm like, and he's like, that's not you. Like, that I arrested you last year. It's not you. And so back to prison in Nevada, Vegas, I came. And rewind a bit. So I went to jail in Cali, and that misdemeanor ticket from the year before, I had missed court. So they wanted to give me a county year in California. And I'm begging. I'm like, let me go to prison in Vegas. I have 8 months to do in Vegas. Just let me go to prison. And at this point, like, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, something needs to change. Like, I'm literally living the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I'm going to the same town, coming back getting arrested by the same cop. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
It's showing like something got to change. And so I sat in jail in California, and I was having trouble sleeping. And so I started doing the serenity prayer over and over in my mind at night. And I'd heard it in AA before. I'd never really done AA before, but I'd heard it, and I don't even know where it came from, but I started saying it over and over and over. And that would put me to sleep every night. And so I did that for a good 3-4 months. And then I found out later that I was rewiring my brain. Because if you say something to yourself over and over for 90 days or more, you physically rewire your brain to believe it. Like, it's scientific. And I'm like, oh my God, I was rewiring my brain to surrender the whole time, and I had no idea. And that's exactly what I did that time. I surrendered. I was like, enough's enough. I'm tired. I heard someone, a lady came into the jail, and she told me she had gotten her kid back. She'd gone through the same kind of stuff, got her kid back. And at this point, I had no hopes of getting my kid back.
Yeah.
I was like, he's gone. Like, I'd been gone 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Even if I had a chance, there's no way he wants anything to do with me. And so she gave me this little spark of hope that was like, you can get your kid back. And your past doesn't define you. And I'm like, I don't know why her voice, and when she was saying that, just hit something in me. And I'm like, maybe I can. Maybe I can. I had 8 months to do in prison. You know, I'm like, all right, like, let me sit down for 8 months and let me really try to work on myself this time. Like, I have nothing but time, right? So I went, they cleared the misdemeanor ticket, sent me back to Vegas. I go to prison, and we're in lockdown, and the guards are wearing masks. People are talking about there's no water on the shelves. The strip's completely shut down. It's the apocalypse. We're going to die because it's COVID. Yeah. And we're inside.
Oh, you're in prison during COVID?
When it started.
Oh, damn.
No idea what's going on. Like, guards are coming in with masks, checking your temperature. We're like, what if there's an apocalypse and everyone just runs out? We're just stuck here.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so it was a weird time. It was a weird time because we had no idea what was going on. And so I'm waiting for my parole revocation hearing, which usually comes in the first 45 days. So they can see me. I know I'm getting revoked. I'm a runner. There's no way they're giving me a second chance. And it never comes, but I don't think anything of it. And so I go into the next part of the prison, and I start getting comfortable. I'm like, I've got 8 months here. Let's 2 days into being in there, I get called to medical. So if you go to prison, they take your blood when you get in. After that, you don't see medical unless you request, unless there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So they call me to medical, and I'm walking, and I'm mad. I'm like, I got some kind of, I probably got Hep C. I mean, I've been using dirty needles. Maybe I have AIDS. Maybe I've, like, maybe some guy gave me something. They only call you back if you have something.
Yeah.
And I'm just pissed walking back to medical. And then the nurse goes, okay, I need to take your blood. And I go, I don't need to do blood again. She goes, no, I need to do your exit blood. You're being released tomorrow. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? She said, yeah, you're being released. I don't have any other information, but you're being released tomorrow. And I'm like, my heart dropped because I want to know where to go. And I want to get better. And I'm like, okay. So I go back to my housing unit, and I start talking to people. It turns out with the COVID regulations and the rules that they had in court, the 6 feet rule, they could only see 6 of us. There was 12 people on the docket for the day my revocation hearing was. The first 6 went. I was one of the last 6. If you don't see the revocation board in a certain amount of time, they have to release you.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know if I was excited. I mean, I was scared. So mind you, I haven't talked to my family in years. I call my mom, and I ask her, I'm like, can I come home? And she said no. And I'm like, oh, okay. I knew that was coming. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm going, okay, I'm going to take my $25 gift card, and I'm going to go get high. Like, and then I'm replaying. I'm like, well, my plan's out the window. I'm going to go back to that circle of insanity because that's all I know.
Mm.
And so they didn't call my name that night. And the next morning I wake up and I ask the guard, hey, am I still being released? She goes, yeah, you're going to be released today. I just don't have time. So I call my mom, and I called her to say goodbye. And I called her, and I started talking to her, and she goes, my sister's living in California, my little sister. And she goes, I'm picking you up from P&P, and you're going to go live with your sister in California. And I was like, oh my, it was like doors just kept opening, like literally, like first prison door. Now my family's opening their doors. Like, it's just like, if I don't take this chance, like, I'm fucking stupid.
1 minute. So you said you called your mom to tell her goodbye. What do you mean by that?
Because I knew if I walked out those doors again and didn't have anywhere to go, I wasn't coming back. I knew that I was so worn out, like there wasn't going to be another chance. Like, I was going hard. Like, I didn't even have like a boyfriend to lean on at that time. Like, I had lost everything. And if I was going to go be homeless, like, it was going to be, I'm going balls to the wall. There's no hope, you know? Like,
yeah. So then you get out. She takes you to your sister?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I get out and and I go to California and everything's good. And I end up connecting with a guy back here in Vegas because I'm not supposed to be in California because of my parole, but there was not even a homeless shelter open.
Oh, because COVID.
Yeah. So my PO basically said, go to that motel and I'll mark that as your residence and come see me in 30 days. I mean, just things were happening and I'm like, okay, I need to take this. And so I went to my sister's. An ex said I could come live with him in Vegas and use his address like a month after that because I didn't want to get in trouble with parole. I was really trying to stay on the straight and narrow this time and check in and do all the things. And so I did. And doors have just been opening for me ever since that. I just stayed sober and I started a TikTok.
Okay.
And just because, like, to take up the time, right? It's a stupid little app. Everyone told me, like, so me and my sister would, like, do, like, our dumb little videos. And then I found a recovery community on TikTok. And I didn't know that was a thing. And I never really done AA or knew sober people. And so I started making, like, dumb little videos about, like, celebrating people's successes and milestones in their sobriety. And I built this, like, whole big recovery family on social media. And plus, the world was virtual still. We're still in COVID stages. So, like, AA meetings weren't even a thing. And I found a virtual AA group that I was able to work my steps through. So I jumped in on that. I was doing 3 meetings a day. I was just anything to keep me not in my own head. And I found that AA meetings and recovery TikTok, like, helped me, you know, stay out of me, like, stay out of my mind. And I was able to give back to people and, like, celebrate their successes, which in turn made me happy. You know, like, I realized that it was kind of like, what do they call it? When you help other people, like, it helps you.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Like, it helps you. And so I learned that really quickly, that I enjoyed making people happy in sobriety and helping them along their journeys. So on my year sober, I went and filed custody for my son. I told myself I wasn't, the judge had told me when I lost custody, don't come back till you're year sober. So I made a point on my year sober to file that paperwork. And the judge was really proud of what I was doing. I enrolled in school to be a drug and alcohol counselor. And so I had that behind my back. I had a year under my belt. I wore the patch for like three months, the drug patch where it monitors you.
Yeah.
So I wore that for her. And I started slowly. You know, I had supervised visits, and then which in turn led to unsupervised visits, which then in turn led to visitation. And then me and my kid's dad were able to agree on a visitation schedule. I had full joint legal custody. And I didn't go for joint physical because at the time, number one, I felt like I didn't deserve it. I had been gone so long, you know, like I didn't feel like I was good with the visitation. Like, he comes to my house 2 days a week. I get him, you know, on holidays and all the things. And also I didn't want to take him away from an only house he's ever known. Who am I to come back in your life 7 years later and be like, you're half mine? You know, when I hadn't been acting like that for the past 7 years. So we agreed on a schedule, because the judge was even like, why don't you come back? Why don't you try for joint? And I'm like, it's not about me. You know, it's not. At the end of the day, like, I've done some damage and I had to rebuild that. And me and my son have talked about it to this day. Like, I'm like, do you want me to go back to get more time? And he's good. You know, like, he's good where he's at. He just wants a sober, present mom, you know? It's not about how much time are you here, how much time are you there. He knows he can pick up the phone and call me and I'll be there. and same, like I can call him and we're there for each other. And I think that's the most important thing to realize. Like, it wasn't about going back and fighting my kid's dad on what I think I deserve. So that was really cool that I ended up getting him back. So now we have a really good relationship, and he'll be 16 this year.
Wow. Driving and stuff.
I know.
And that's, wow, what a story. I mean, there's probably still more we got to talk about, but I want to stop it there at the point of you, and essentially got sober through your own way. And what helped you stay sober was TikTok.
Yeah.
I want people to hear that, understand that. Because I'm always on the fence with social media. It could be bad for you, it could be good for you, depending what you're following, depending what you're seeing. And I'm big on being mindful who I follow and what I follow and see. Like, I try to stay out of all the drama, anything negative, because it's just too much. Instead of trying to find the positive things, like I never would have thought of what you just said, a recovery TikTok. And look, it helped you get to where you're at now, and you've probably made some great connections, inspired other people.
Yeah.
You got your son back.
Yeah. I wouldn't be sober if it wasn't for TikTok. I 100% know that.
Say it again.
I wouldn't be sober if it wasn't for TikTok.
That is interesting. That is fire.
It was cool because, like, they all celebrated my milestones. Like, I put all my court stuff with my kid on, I'd make videos, like, every court date, like, hey, we're going to court, or hey, and I had people all around the world celebrating with me when I reached these things, Like, it was so cool. We even started a meetup every year, a bunch of us, and we go to Atlanta every year, and we meet up.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's what people need. I think the people who are in recovery and struggling with those addictions is the community and the support.
Yeah, and a lot of people told me, like, and then for me it was virtual because, like, it was COVID. Like, I'm a people person. I like to be, in places now. But I've had a lot of people that reached out to me and were like, I have social anxiety. Like, how am I supposed to go to meetings if I have social anxiety? Like, I don't even want to turn my camera on. And I'm like, you don't have to. That's the cool thing, like, about Zoom meetings and stuff like that. You don't have to. You can just go listen. Sometimes I would just put my phone on in a meeting and just listen to it while I cleaned.
Yeah, like a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's there for everybody. It's at your fingers. You can't tell me you can't get to a meeting. Like, my clients now, like, you can't tell me you can't get to a meeting when you can turn one on your phone. You really can. And then going into, like, the videos, like, I mean, they helped me more than I'll ever know. Like, it was just, it really, really, what I needed to feel was love and support, and I didn't have that. I mean, I had my family, but, like, it wasn't the same. Like, these people understood, like, they understood what it was like to go to the depths of hell and try and crawl back out, So having the support and walking through my journey with them, every, like, milestone, we hit together, and then you meet them face to face, and it's just like, I mean, there's some super special people on there. And yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be sober if it wasn't for TikTok.
And with your addiction, you mentioned your dad was an addict. Was your mom an addict also?
My mom was an alcoholic. She stopped when she saw me really going downhill around 21. So she stopped drinking. She was always present though. She was a functioning alcoholic. So it didn't really ever, I mean, I knew it was a problem, but it wasn't too bad. My dad was in and out of my life, addicted to meth and hookers my whole life.
Damn.
So yeah. Yeah, so it was, I mean, we bonded over our addictions at one point, when we were in the trap house together. It was a source of bonding for us. He's in a nursing home now, and I get to help, like, be there for the last years of his life, which I think is super, super important. And we really have that bond from when we were struggling together.
Yeah. Now, when you got clean, you got your custody of your son back. We're now moving towards your sober life to where you are now. How did you get involved into the Crossroads, Shine a Light, and the work you do now?
So I was living with a girl, and she got an interview for Freedom House case manager.
And what is Freedom House?
Freedom House is also another treatment center, sober living that we have out here. And Jeff Iverson, Rob, they're all affiliated with it. And so she had an interview for that, and I was going to school for drug and alcohol counseling, and I was like, I really want to do that. And she was like, well, you go to the interview because that's not my passion. And so she gave me the interview, and that's when I met Rob, and I ended up getting the job for that. And that just changed my whole world, like case managing women, helping them get their children back, helping them get sober, helping them get IDs, documents, all the things, jobs. I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is my purpose. Like, I didn't realize I didn't realize what I've been searching for all along was my purpose. I thought that being a mom was supposed to be my purpose, and I think when I became a mom, it wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it was going to be, in a sense, and I feel like that just drove me farther down my rabbit hole. And my purpose, I really truly feel, is giving back to the community that I was, the people struggling. And once I found that job, it was like, it was over. I didn't even really want to be a drug and alcohol counselor anymore. Like, I wanted to walk these women through their process. And another cool thing was that I had drug court clients. I couldn't stay. I didn't do drug court. Like, I was given the opportunity, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I started having clients complete drug court, and I'm like,
wow.
I walked them through that process. So like, I'm kind of completing it myself. Like in my own weird way, I'm kind of completing it myself. And so that was really cool. And my career's only taken off from there with, after Freedom House, Rob and a few other people went over to Crossroads, and I was in search of growth. There's a lot of people in my life right now, and they've been in my life since the beginning, since the 4 years that I've worked in treatment. We've all worked in the same facilities, and I'm following them wherever they go. I am stuck to them. I tell them all the time, you can't get rid of me. Like, I see you guys, and I want that. Like, Paul, Rob, Jeff, I have my coworkers now with me, George, Brent, like all of those people. Like, I want to be like you. I want what you have. Like, and I've done nothing but grow exponentially the last 4 years, and that's because I follow these people. So when Rob, George, Brent, all of them started leaving Freedom House to go to Crossroads and shine a light, I'm like, wait for me. I'm coming. And so I went to Crossroads and just have built my way up into the outreach department where I'm at now, and with the courts. So now I oversee all the specialty court clients that come through Crossroads. All the drug court clients, I get to walk them through their journeys and help them that way. And then with Shine a Light, so I've been at Crossroads, I want to say 2.5 years now. And then with Shine, they started a criminal justice track last year, and they asked me to help start it along with Brian. So we have built the criminal justice track. So now we case manage criminal justice clients. So anybody related to drug court. So I have 40 people on my caseload with that alone. So I have, it's a lot. But yeah, it's awesome, dude. I just want to keep growing.
That is amazing. I love what Rob is amazing. Also Jeff, and I want to say his name is Joe.
Joe, yeah.
Mustache.
Joe. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful mustache, by the way, my man. Beautiful. I met them maybe 2 years ago now I was volunteering for Shine the Light through, Julie Kane. Mm-hmm. So Julie Kane, I need to get her on the guest because she's just in the community deep, man. Like, she just told me, hey, I think you would like doing this, because she kind of knew an idea of my story. And I'm like, yeah, definitely go. And I went, and it's just changing, life changing. Like, I've had my own struggles growing up as a kid and anything like that. But when you go under those tunnels and then you meet Rob and he just tells you, and you just hear the story, and it's just like, whoa. And ever since then, I had him come on. He told his story. That's how I met Jeff, hear his story. And it's beautiful, man. I think I was telling a friend this the other day when we were talking about struggles and the downs and ups. I'm like, to me, honestly, when I think about my life, all the ugly stuff and whatever, I think it's art.
Yeah.
It's art. You just don't see it yet.
100%. 100%. I wouldn't be who I am, where I'm at I wouldn't even be able to do what I do without everything I've been through. Like, I have no regrets on any point in my life, even the bad shit that I did.
Yeah.
Like, because I literally give back to people day in and day out and help walk other people through the exact same situations. And I can say, hey, I've been through that. If I hadn't gone through it, I can't really relate on a level as deep as I can.
Like you mentioned earlier in the beginning about imposter syndrome, right? Not feeling like you're not qualified and all these things. Those are somewhat similar things I have felt when I became the sober wellness coach and into that space of wanting to help people, thinking like, oh, I don't, But then I remind myself, I had a business coach and helped me remind myself, like, my experience is what makes me qualified.
Yeah.
Because there's people who can go and they can get the degrees, they can go do everything, but never been in it.
Right.
I don't know for sure, but I would like to think people who are in it would relate more to somebody who also has been in it.
Well, and the thing is, like when I used to go to rehab, like, and I'd have therapists or counselors that hadn't had substance, I'd be like, I'm not listening to you. You have no idea what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I would.
Yeah.
And I know some great, amazing therapists and counselors that have not struggled with substance use disorder. Let me say that. I do.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yes, there is a relatability issue where you can say like, hey, I've been through it.
Yeah.
Like, I know what you're feeling. And so, yeah, I'm a PRSS now, so I have that behind my back so I can, to talk to the people like, hey, listen, like this is, I know what you're going through. And there is light on the other side. I'm a 3-time felon. I've ran from drug court twice. And now I work alongside judges, coordinators, POs. I have them in my phone. They're my friends. I call them, I say Happy Mother's Day to them. I call them if I need advice. Like, it doesn't feel real at times. It doesn't feel like I should be living this life because of all the shit that I've been through. But it is real. Like, it can happen. I always tell people, like, I have a face tattoo and 3 felonies, and I work with the courts.
Fire.
And it was cool. Well, actually, I only have 1 now because I went and got 2 of them expunged.
Okay.
But yeah.
I got a face tattoo, felonies, and I work with the courts.
Like, don't tell me you can't do something. Don't tell me you can't do something. Because anything is possible. And I try and challenge myself all the time. All the time. Like, I'm always seeking ways to grow, to challenge myself, just to say I did this.
And how's your relationship now with your son?
Oh, it's amazing. He comes over. He's at my house every weekend. We have holidays, vacations together. He's a good kid. He's a really good kid. He had some struggles last year, but we were able to talk it out. We were able to walk through it. And once again, I was able to say, hey, I've been there. Like, and hey, I've also done this. And I'm very open with him. I'm like, he knows everything. Like, Mom's wasn't a good person. And Mom did a lot of crap. And you don't want to be that person. And so I'm able to talk to him, on a friend level too, because I wasn't always Mom. Yeah. So I feel like we have this friendship that that most moms and sons don't have because I wasn't around. So, I am able to talk to him as a friend, which is nice.
That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's what are maybe some misconceptions people may have about drug addicts?
I think they think that they choose it. And in a sense, we do. But you don't know why. You never know why. It could be trauma that person's gone through. It could be that person feels hopeless. There's always a why they're choosing it, And at some point, yes, it becomes not a choice anymore when you physically need it. But I think a lot of people blame, the addict. And it's like, we're sick. There is something seriously wrong with us deep down, whether it be mental health, trauma, other issues. Like, there's something seriously wrong with us, and we need to treat those issues. I also think that people give up hope, and it's like, we're human, There's always hope. I was out there for like 20 years. If you count all of my years, even alcohol, meth, all the things, like I was out there over 20 years, and I got sober. I mean, people had given up on me. My family gave up on me. But and I had even given up on myself, Like I didn't even have hope. But if you I was saying, talking to someone about a couple days ago about like family members, like you have to hold out hope. Like, they're human. They're going through something. And they also have a disease on top of that, Like, you have to be understanding of that and love them. Even if it's from a distance, we're still people.
Has there ever been a time or moment since you've not been sober, or do you ever think about that feeling of it, the drug?
Yeah, all the time.
Really?
I love it. I do.
Damn.
I really do. I love that feeling. So I had surgery a couple years ago, and I was taking opiates for the first time. And I knew I was going to get them. And so I prepared. Like, I had my mom dispense them to me. Like, we had a plan.
Yeah.
And it was hard. Like, they felt really good.
Oh, wow.
And it was really hard for me to, I really like that feeling. That's not going to go away with any counseling, anything. I like that feeling.
Yeah.
I have to acknowledge that. I have to be honest with myself. You like this feeling too much. And so I was able to stop taking the meds and switch to Tylenol and ibuprofen, just like they tell you.
Yeah.
And I kept the bottle, though, with the extra pills. Like, I put it in my drawer, and I was like, if I need it, you know? Like, that's my sick brain. If I need it, you know? Knowing I wasn't going to need it anymore. Yeah. And so it took me 2 or 3 weeks, and then I finally was like, all right, I need to flush these because there's no reason you need to hold on to these unless you plan on taking them. And so I went over to the toilet, and I'm standing over the toilet, and I go to throw them in, and in that moment, I'm mad at myself for throwing away drugs. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and I'm like, okay, just flush the toilet, Jamie. You need to go to sleep. Like, literally, like, but yeah, of course my brain goes there. I'm an addict. I'm always going to be an addict. I'm always going to have these thoughts. I'm always going to have these triggers. I'm always going to be in situations where getting high seems like a good idea or sounds like fun, but I have to use my tools. I have to play the tape through. I have to go, okay, do you really want to go down that road? Because you can't just get high once. You don't want to just get high. I don't want to get high once. Mm-hmm. I don't. If I'm going to be high, I want to be high forever.
Ooh.
And I can't.
Feel that.
I can't. So I can't pick up the first one. And I know that. And so I have to implement all the tools I've used. And I call people. I called someone right after I flushed him, and I'm like, you're not going to believe what I just thought to myself. You know? And we talk it through, and they're like, it's normal. And I'm like, all right, I'll drive down Boulder Highway. I used to live in a storage locker on Boulder Highway behind the Best Western.
You lived in a storage locker?
Yeah.
It's like a storage unit for like storage, but
like
you lived
unit,
in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We made it into an apartment for a couple months, you know?
Oh, nice. Damn. You're crafty.
There was other people living in it too. It's crazy. But
duplex.
Yeah. We had the heater, the air conditioning, the little hot plate. It was set up. It was nice.
$75 a month. You can't beat that.
Right, exactly. With rent prices now, like I might go back and find that guy. But there was and I always pass by it and see people that I know are getting high. You know, you when you pass your normal area, and like I think to myself like, oh, must be nice. You know, like I'd like to feel that way right now. But once again, tools like. Do I want to lose my job? Do I want to lose my kid? Do I want to lose a house? Do I want to lose all I've worked so hard for just to get high? No. The benefits of being sober are outweighing the benefits of being high. I don't think I had that before. You know, I don't think that really was a thing. I didn't think there was benefits to being sober. I didn't know. I never really gave myself a shot at normal life before I started using. So I never really experienced it. But like I said, I wouldn't take any of it back. Like I have a beautiful life today and I get to help people. Like that's all what it's all about. To me, you know, is helping people.
And you pretty much answered the question, right? I think, but like when you do get those hard moments and times, what do you go to? What do you do? When you get those triggers, like you mentioned, or like you always feel it, you're always going to want it. Like,
right. And like I said, it's playing the tape through for me a lot. Like, is it worth it? Like, you know, going down that road is going to lead you to prison, homeless, sick, all the things. Like, is it worth it? You know, you've worked so hard for all that you have, and so it's just not. And if I'm having a really hard moment, it's pick up the phone and call someone. I have a lot of good people on my support team, and it's not hard to reach someone. I remember in AA, they used to say, well, what if no one answers the phone? Trust me. I have so many people on my phone list. Someone's answering that phone. And all I have to do is shoot a text if they don't and say, hey, I need to talk to you. And that's my thing is support. Like, you have to build that network. You have to build that network. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for the people who have surrounded me and brought me up. Like, it's the most important thing.
I think that is important outside of just the addiction part, just life in general, is building that network of supportive, uplifting people around you.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for a lot of us adults because we are tied to a lot of people for different reasons for so long that we don't realize we might stay there where we're at. You know, it's hard to, I don't want to say get rid of, but shift to a new group of people or shift and find that new circle of friends.
Yeah, because you stay where you're comfortable. It's just
exactly.
like addiction.
Ooh.
It's just like addiction. You stay where you're comfortable. It's like a toxic relationship. Stay in that toxic
A quote I heard somebody say that was so crazy. Fire, he said, sometimes we're addicted to the consistency. We're addicted to being consistent as opposed to being right.
Mm-hmm.
So an example, being consistent with our negative behavior of whatever it is, even though we know what the right thing to do is something else, our body's so conditioned and used to that consistency of doing something, or even addicted to the chaos.
Yeah, we don't like change. People don't like change.
Oh,
It scares them.
yeah. COVID had everybody scared. Not me.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, you don't want to be scared. Change is scary. Any kind of change is scary. Changing your social circle, scary. You know, changing where you live, scary. Changing anything is it's the fear of the unknown.
Have you ever, since you've been on this recovery journey, have you seen people that you knew then and you see them now and you're kind of like, you know?
All the time. All the
Really?
time. So I worked in detox and I had people come in that I knew in my past and I want to help them. And I'm telling them, like, I'm here. I'm here as living proof. If that's not something to show you, like, you know how bad I was. You saw me at my worst. I think it's easier actually to talk to people that I've been out there with to help them to see like that. I mean, I went back into the women's prison and spoke, and there was a girl in there that I had gotten high with and was in a trap house with. And she was like, you're such an inspiration. And like, that's what I want to be, you know, like I'm like, let me know when you're ready, you know, like, I will be there. I might not have the answer, but I'll find it.
Not the answer, but I'll find it. If there's people who listen to this podcast episode, hear your story, hear your journey they feel like they're too far gone. What would you say to them?
I felt that way too. I relate. I 100% had given up hope. I didn't see a way out. I mean, I feel like at some point you just have to make a decision to try. Like, you have to give yourself a little bit of grace and say, hey, I'm worth it. You know, like, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to make that phone call and reach out and ask for help. Asking for help is the hardest thing. It really is. Like, you don't want to admit to anyone like that you are at the lowest point in your life. It was hard for me to ask for help from my mom. I knew her answer was going to be no. And it was at first, you know, and I had to like, okay, accept it and, surrender. Like I said, I had rewired my brain to surrender. So I was like, okay. And then, you know, she ended up saying yes. Like, ask for help. Give yourself grace. And understand that, like, you're not alone. I feel like most of us have felt that way at some point. Most of us that have overcome addiction have felt that way. And it's possible. Because I didn't think I was going to be sitting here. I 100% never in my wildest dreams thought that this would be the life I live today. I didn't even know if I wanted it. But I wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, do you have a quote you live by?
Not really.
Any philosophy?
I don't.
Wise words? Any?
Nothing.
No?
No.
Who would you say through your journey is been the most influential?
Like a person?
Person, book, whatever. Religion? Whatever. I don't know.
I don't really, you know, I don't know. That's hard. Those are hard questions for me. I just look up to the people I surround myself with. I do.
That's good.
I stay close to them, as close as I can get.
Well, Jamie, I appreciate you coming on today, sharing your journey. It's no more running from the cops. You're not good at it.
Barely.
You ran into the trash can. That was funny. And then for you to then pull up your
My mugshot.
mugshot. I'll tell the quick story of myself. When I went to jail one time, I missed my curfew. I was on probation. So I'm in jail, and they take me to court to meet the judge to decide if she can put me on probation or let me out. Let me out or send me to jail. So they're going back and forth arguing about he missed curfew, you know, this and that. They pulled up a blown up photo copy picture they got from my phone of me at the club when I was supposed to be on curfew with the bottle in my hand. And I could see it and I'm like, oh, I'm going to jail. Like, I didn't even know they had that. They ended up giving me probation again, give me a chance, but I could relate. I couldn't deny it. I couldn't deny it. That's me with the bottle at 11
You're like, well,
at 11 p.m. at the club. I was supposed to be home at my mom's house. And yeah, you got me.
that feeling is terrible though. You're like,
It is. You can't run, hide, nothing. It's like you got me. Well, once again, thank you, Jamie, for coming on.
thank you.
I know your story is going to inspire and help anybody who listens to this, whether addiction or not, they know somebody with addiction. I think it's important for people like you to continue to tell their stories, which I know you love to do. And the vulnerableness and openness is going to help people feel related to, like you said, tattoos, felonies, and working with the judges and courts and probation officers.
Facts.
You're the definition of what BambooSZN is. You know, you plant the seeds of change when you didn't know it by saying that prayer to yourself. And then now look at you 6 years later, sprouting to the ceiling. You know what I mean? You know what also is crazy about bamboo? It can withstand all types of storms, floods, but it still stands on business.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in today to this episode of BambooSZN Podcast. I will put her Instagram in the description of this episode. Make sure you follow her and her journey and her recovery TikToks. She's sober because of TikTok. Don't forget that. And then I'll leave you with the word. You got to struggle before you get strong, baby. Things are going to get ugly and they're going to be hard before you build that strength. So it's going to be hard and it's going to be a struggle when you're trying to change yourself, your environment. You got to be willing to stick through it so that you can become great and your true best self. 2 words. Optimal human. Go get yours. Link in the description. We out.